Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ig, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make native soup or fisherman soup. Now if you look very well, you'll see that I have all my ingredients, but I'm just going to go ahead and clean them. And if you're new to my channel, please do not forget to click on the subscribe button and notification bell. So here I have my already washed catfish. I'll be using catfish, but you can use any one you want. I'm using some prawns already washed, my periwinkles neatly cleaned up, my clams or my ungolo. I have some okra that I already cut. I have some sliced uziza leaves. I have some snails that I already washed, and I have my dried fish and my stock fish. So here is my palm oil. You'll be needing some palm oil for this recipe. And I have my seasonings, my pepper, my seasoning cubes, my crayfish, some salt, and some onions already chopped. So let's just go ahead to the business of the day. So the first thing we'll do is to add in some water into our pot. The reason why we're doing this is because we're going to first of all cook our fish. So I'm just going to go in with the fish and then my seasonings. Now if you do not cook your fish like this, I don't know how the fish is going to have all the taste you want. And you know, it's fresh fish, it's catfish, so we have to be very careful so that it doesn't start to smell or it doesn't have this awful or awkward taste. So I'm just going to go in with some peppers. I already have my pepper mix and I'm adding it, and I'm going to go in with some salt as well and some onions, my already chopped onions with my seasoning cubes. Okay, so feel free to use any seasoning of your choice, but while you're doing that, remember that you're cooking soup and not stew, so you don't overuse seasonings. Okay, so I'm just going to cover this and let it give this a quick stir and cover it and let it cook for some time until it is perfectly done. Okay, so this soup, as we all know, is a very popular soup in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Personally, I enjoy this soup a lot, and it's very rich. So if you're cooking it, you have to prepare. Some people will prefer to use tilapia, mackerel, any kind of fish. But let's just go ahead and check if our fish is already done. And now I'm going to add in some snails to it because I want my proteins to get cooked at the same time. So I'll just stir and let it go sit evenly inside the pot. So I'm still going to cover this for another, say, 20 to 30 minutes so that my snail is perfectly cooked. One disadvantage cooking with snail is if you do not wash it very well, you still get all those slimes, and you don't want any of that. When you're eating, you get to feel slimes in your mouth. So now my my protein is ready, and I'm just going to check it to see and take it out because I don't want it to overcook. All right, so I'm just going to put it in a separate bowl while we proceed to the next stage of the cooking. And the reason why I'm taking my snails and my fish out is because if it gets too soft, you're not going to like it, and I do not want my fish to scatter in my pot in the course of stirring. No, so I just take it out. But if you have a bigger pot, you can still leave it in, but you have to be very careful. So I'm just going to do this and take out the fish, the head of the fish as well, which is what I am doing now. Be careful when you're doing this so that you don't scatter your fish. All right, good. So the next thing we're going to do is add in our stockfish and our dry fish. We all know it takes a longer time to cook that, so I couldn't have cooked it at the same time I was cooking my fresh fish. Okay, so I'm just going to cover this and let it boil for a while until it is soft. And we all know you can use any kind of fish you want. Some people will prefer to use some other type of dried fish. Just use according to your discretion. It's totally fine. So I'm just going to check my dried fish and my stock fish to see how soft it is. And looking at it, my dried fish is already very soft, so I'm just going to take it out. But my stock fish is still very tough, so I'm just going to take out my dried fish and still leave the stock fish in the pot to cook. That way it will get done even by the time I am done with the entire process of the cooking. But now I'm going to add in some more water, because this is not the level or quantity of water we're going to use for our soup. So I'm just going to add in some more water and let it boil up for a while, and I'll add in palm oil. Okay, now so our soup is boiling up, and I'm just going to open it up and add in some palm oil. Make sure that your soup is boiling like this when you're cooking, else you might not get your desired consistency. At some point you might begin to see oil on one side. It's not going to mix properly, you understand? So I'm just checking it again, and you see that it's all the oil is properly mixed into our pot and our boiling water, broth, whatever it is. So I didn't show you prior to this time that I was going to use a thickener. So for this recipe you're going to be needing a thickener, okay? And for this I'm using ofo, and you just mix ofo into a little oil, okay? Mix the ofo into a little oil and add it in. Don't turn it immediately you have put it, to just leave it there. It will scatter or separate by itself. So once you see that your ofo is beginning to boil, like boil just the way this one is boiling, know that it's already working its way through thickening your food, okay? So I'll still check it again, and by now I've already achieved my desired consistency. See, it is thicker than the way it was before now, and this is what we are looking for. Let me just give it a quick stir and see. So we don't want it to be thicker than this, because we're not done cooking, all right? So in the course of our cooking process, it will still be getting thicker, all right? So now I'm going to add in my prawns, my ngolo first, sorry. I'm going to go in and add in my ngolo so that it cooks properly. This is the bigger version of periwinkle, so I'm just going to go in and add it, then add in my pepper mix. I like pepper, and if this soup is not spicy, trust me, you're not going to enjoy it. So I like to add in a lot of pepper, and I'm going to go in with some more seasoning cubes. Now be careful not to add over spice your food, so that it doesn't get too spicy or too salty. And I'll just go ahead and taste. Remember, taste your food all the time. I always say this. I'm just going to cover up, and the reason I've added all of this before now is so that my proteins can have the taste that I want it to have. So I'm just going to go and add some crayfish and some salt. All right, just very little salt is what you need, but still, while you're cooking, always taste your food so that you know if the salt is enough or not. Now I'm going to go in with some prawns, my prawns that are already washed. Now when you're cooking, you know that prawns are not supposed to stay on the fire for too long, so it's towards the end that you're going to add your prawns. And I'm just going to go in with my already cooked dried fish. Now because I didn't want all of these things to scatter in my pot, I just put it when it is almost time for me to finish. So as you can see, I'm adding in the snails as well, and I'll just cover now and let it cook for at least 10 minutes, and I'll check it. See the way it's boiling. So This is what we're looking for. We'll give it a quick stir. See that beautiful look? This is exactly what we want. All right, so now I'm just going to put in my fish. I mean, you should perceive the aroma in my kitchen. I'm giving it another taste because I cannot just get over the taste of this food. I just want to eat it sharp sharp, but no, we have to finish up our cooking process. All right, so look at that. So I'm adding more pepper because I want more pepper for this food. Always use according to your discretion. If you do not want pepper, do not add so much pepper. All right, but I want to use for this particular recipe. Now I'm going to go in with my periwinkle. Just turn it in and let it cook for a while to give it another stir so that it cooks properly. See how beautiful our soup is. It's already taking shape, even if this is not the end product. I told you the soup was going to get thick as it's going. So, and look at how it is. It's looking already thick. So let's just check our food one more time. This is beautiful. So I'm just going to go ahead and add in our fish so that it absorbs all the taste of the soup. Now you can choose to add in the head of the fish if you have a big pot, but because my pot is not big enough, I'm not going to add it yet. I will add it but not yet, so that my fish will not scatter and I'll have enough space to stir my soup. Okay, let me just add in the head of the fish. See, I'm being very careful so that it doesn't spill or it doesn't break. So I'll just cover it and let it boil, and after it has boiled for a while, I'll still take it out because I haven't finished my cooking. I just wanted it to absorb the taste of the soup. So now I'm taking my fish out of the pot. I'm giving this an even stir. See how beautiful this soup is. A very rich soup. You don't just cook this soup carelessly in your house. So it's time for me to add in my okra, and I'm just going to go in with it. I'm not going to pour the okra in one place because I don't want to keep turning and turning. So you just scatter it with your hand like you're drizzling it over your food, and you let it cook for at least 10 to 15 seconds, tops 2 minutes. Then you add in your uziza leaves, and then you come to the end of your cooking. Like I always say, remember to taste your food, okay, so that you don't over spice or over salt your food. Now I'm adding in my uziza leaves. For this recipe, I'm not adding too many. I'm not adding a large quantity of leaves, okay, because you don't really need so much leaves inside this. You just want the taste of the leaves of that uziza leaf in your food, okay. See how I'm being careful stirring this, and I'm just going to add that my head of fish that I already removed one more time, and my food is ready to be served. Okay, please do not forget to give me a comment or a like on wherever you have issues or questions to be asked on this recipe, and I'm always here to answer you or respond to your questions. Okay, if you enjoyed watching this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll always see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Bye.